America's always had this two-party system where you're either on one side or the other on every single issue, and if you don't support either side's approach to dealing with issues, or you are somewhere in the middle between the two, your vote pretty much doesn't count in terms of their democratic system. I've always been glad that UK has never really felt that way. It often feels that you can debate things and understand issues together, and work more collaboratively across a wider sort of spectrum of approaches to dealing with issues. What I've noticed recently, though, is that we are leaning towards this sort of polarized approach, and this idea of getting in your own camp and sort of fighting this enemy as if it's like good and bad, like you're in a superhero film. And that's what's always I've never really understood about American politics, and now unfortunately more recently in UK politics, especially on social media. And the worst thing with that is that I was watching someone, I'll post the TED Talk, which I found really interesting, that I was watching today, which explains the concept of social media algorithms building a profile about you. And we all know this is happening because, you know, you have the adverts that are tailored to something you was having a conversation about in the pub the night before and things like that. We all know this is going on. But to include a person's political views and a profile of how they would seemingly approach an issue, and to tailor content to target them and to appeal to their political views, it's quite an interesting concept and something I've not really thought about before, but it does make sense that this move to this sort of divisive, politically charged world that we're building on social media in a lot of ways, definitely on Twitter and somewhat to a good degree on Facebook as well, I find. And this is something I've tried to distance myself from a great deal since I've sort of noticed the trend developing. But the idea that we can be so manipulated to sort of turn against each other and everything, and to be sort of stirred up and riled up to sort of rally for our own side in this almost like a civil war that's being created by people that are just being drip fed the content that serves their needs and helps them sort of build like this confirmation bias within an echo chamber, and they're just part of groups of people that have the same views, and they're constantly viewing things that confirm what they think about an issue, whereas the other side are getting content that confirms their views. It's an interesting one. I wonder what the intention is behind it all. I wonder why that's being done. Is it to create division? Is it to divide and conquer, as a lot of people would say, and try and maintain a rule of the population by weakening them from sort of rising up against a common enemy and uniting? Or is it just to do with commercial interest? It's difficult to see how, but it's a difficult concept, and I've talked before about distancing yourself from social media, trying to stand out from that and have your own mind, have your own thoughts on things, and also to focus on what you think, what is good to you, what is beneficial to you, to your communities, to people around you, and work towards that, as opposed to being so stuck into political issues which ultimately you don't have much influence over apart from when you vote. It's a difficult environment to be in social media these days, and it can be underappreciated the effect this is having on the relationships that people are having with each other in real life, and the idea of becoming so emotionally invested in things that are outside of your realm of control, when really, if you can't control it, you shouldn't be spending time and energy on it. It's something I've had to sort of have a think about and learn the hard way, and ultimately, if you're watching this, you know, it's about you working on yourself, about you achieving your goals in your life, about you doing what's good for you, like I say, and hopefully that manifesting in a positive change being left on the world, and positive change be affected on people around you and people you care about and the communities you inhabit, as opposed to worrying about, especially what's going on in America. If you live in the UK, it's just not, it's not that relevant. It seems to be if you go on social media. It's something to be mindful of. It's natural, it's easy to do. There's a thing called identity theory in psychology, which is the idea of, if you go to a football match and you wear the same colours as everyone else and you support your team, you become a group and you feel safe and protected and you're part of that community. Well, it's the same thing. If someone offers you a side that you can jump on and agree with everything they say, and they'll lead you, and you can find comfort and security with that group, then you'll naturally become hostile to anyone who tries to disrupt that group and opposes that group. So it's not surprising. It's just, with that knowledge in mind, think about how that can be used maliciously against you, to control you, to set yourself against people that are just like you, your peers, and distract you from doing what you want to achieve in the world, and getting you to spend time on things that are a waste of time and are ineffectual. So to think about. I hope it gives you some food for thought. Thanks for watching. See you soon.